Canelo Alvarez says he's not sure if he'll fight GENNADY Golovkin, and he says it's too drastic to go from 175 back to 160, so he would have to do it in time. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing if you want to become part of the gang notification gang. Please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Sign up for ESPN Plus below using my link. It definitely helps the channel. You can now bundle ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus. All three subscriptions, $12.99 a month for all three. And definitely helps my channel. And shout out to everyone who's used that. There's a ton of content on ESPN Plus, UFC pay-per-view. You got Top Rank Boxing and college football, slew of other original programming. Now let's get it. Canelo Alvarez, he said he should be announcing his opponent shortly. In an interview with ESPN Deportes, let's jump right into it. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. Canelo told ESPN Deportes, "We all go through that, and right now I'm in the position that it has to be respected." And he's referring to the A-side status. He says, "I won this position, so they all," meaning the opponents, "have to respect this process. That's the way it is. Even if you want to go the other way, that's how it will be." So he's saying he worked and he was striving to get into this position, and now he's there, so everyone has to bow down and respect the due process. He says, "Right now we are in negotiations. There are many opponents that are important, but it should not be long before we know who is next. I'm going to start training at my pace and be ready for May against whoever it is." He says, regarding the possibility of a Triple G trilogy, "There is a lot of talk about that possibility of a Golovkin trilogy, but I can't say that answer right now because that is something that is not certain. I want to fight at 168 and then get closer to 160 and do it properly, because going down from 175 to 160 is a very drastic change." End quote. Now, my thing is this with Canelo is, this is what I don't like about so many belts in boxing and the way Canelo has moved in this recent DAZN career, is nobody told him to go to 175 in order to face Kovalev. He just randomly came out with that. People wanted to see him possibly fight Triple G3, fight Demetrius Andrade, fight Charlo, and fight Benavidez, and fight in the divisions, Caleb Smith, 168, 160, the divisions that he was already established and a champion in. He elects to go all the way to 175 and against a faded Crusher like we knew, and the fight looked FAF, and he knocks him out in a fight that didn't really live up to expectations. Kovalev looked like a shell of his former self. Canelo didn't look like his sparky, normal, sharp, accurate self. And it culminated or climaxed with a knockout. However, it just wasn't the most scintillating fight, and I don't think it was either Canelo or Kovalev's best. Kovalev, all of a sudden, person who's killed someone in the ring, doesn't commit to any power punches and fights this frantic type of lazy jab fight, and he was still winning doing that. He was still effective because of his power and his size. Even though he wasn't throwing power punches, just flicking out the jab with his range and his height and his heavy hands, that was enough to deter Canelo, who was much smaller, much shorter, from getting on the inside. So it wasn't either guy's best performance. It was definitely a forgettable fight, especially the event, waiting for UFC 244 on DAZN. Bad decision. I'm not going to rehash every little thing, but they waited for another rival promotion's main event to end. So very forgettable. And now Canelo's saying he can't make 160 straight away. But again, nobody told you to do this. It really puts me in the mindset of Errol Spence when he was trying to, actually Kell Brook, when he was in the process of being chased down by Errol Spence. Kell Brook was at 47, and he hadn't fought a big name since Sean Porter. People wanted him to fight a Sean Porter rematch, Pacquiao, Mayweather, Keith Thurman, or Errol Spence is mandatory. That's all they wanted. That's what people were asking, because his competition had stifled after Sean Porter. He was fighting Jojo Dan, Frankie Gavin, Kevin Bezier. A bunch of fights fell apart with Jesse Vargas and Brandon Rios, etc. So people just wanted to see him up the ante and fight a top welterweight. He decides, him and Eddie Hearn concoct this plan to move up to 160, which nobody told him to do. Everyone said it would be too dangerous, to fight then undefeated Gennady Golovkin, who had knocked out like 20, 21 people in a row. So we all knew, anybody with the brain knew that would be a bad fight for Kell Brook, because he couldn't make any mistakes. Even though he's probably more skilled, him being the smaller man, a good big man beats a great little man, you know? So just as predicted, it was a bad look for him. He gets stopped and he sustains a serious eye injury. Then he's forced to either go back down to 147 or fight at 54. And since he had avoided Errol Spence, the pressure was on him to fight Errol Spence. So he did it, and then he got his other eye bashed up. That's what happened. So that puts me in the mindset of Canelo. Taking challenges is cool, but why not clean out your division? You're in two divisions, 160 and 168. Why go all the way up to 175 when you have so much more to do at 160 and 168 and against fresher, skilled guys? Everybody he could have fought at 160, 168, or even the other top guys at 175, not named Kovalev, all of them were pretty much undefeated. Caleb Smith undefeated, Billy Joe Saunders undefeated, Jamal Charlo undefeated, Demetrius Andrade undefeated, Beterbiev and Bivol all undefeated. You know, Zurdo Ramirez undefeated. So everybody he could have really fought that people, Caleb Plant undefeated. Literally the top names and different skill sets, different styles from 60 to 75, but definitely 60 to 68, they were all undefeated. And he chooses to fight Kovalev, who almost got stopped in his previous fight. This is why Canelo receives the same criticism that he keeps getting, you know, and now he's saying he can't make the fight. I think DAZN really dropped the ball, not making Canelo Triple G3, like forcing it or making Canelo sign something that he's getting all this money. He need to fight Triple G before the Derevyanchenko, because that Derevyanchenko fight, a lot of people felt Triple G didn't look the same. Father Time's catching up with him. Derevyanchenko was definitely catching up with him, and he didn't look as formidable, and he almost got stopped. So that has now changed, and the luster of Canelo Triple G3, the prospects of that fight are no longer even intriguing, especially if the fight don't happen at 160. If it happens at 168, then, you know, I don't know anyone who's going to pick Triple G to beat Canelo, because he already didn't beat him in the last fight, and Canelo's fresher, he's more skilled, better defense. Golovkin looked bad in his last fight. He was getting touched up by Steve Rolls. He just doesn't look like the same fighter. So the best thing DAZN would have been able to do is to just get the fight out the way and hurry up and make it. But they waited, and now the fight is spoiled. You know, I really don't see anybody excited for that fight anymore. And they're thinking they're still trying to force feed people, thinking that Canelo Triple G3 is the ticket. You know, it's just so much. You can't not strike while the iron's hot, and then so much changes, and then expect the fight to still have the same market value, because boxing doesn't work like that. Boxing is very fickle, and things change in the blink of an eye. You know, just last year, PBC had all the heavyweight belts when Andy Ruiz beat Joshua and Wilder was a belt holder. Now the British fighters have all the heavyweight belts. You know, AJ has most of them, and then Tyson Fury just beat Wilder. So boxing is constantly changing and evolving, and that's why you have to strike while the iron's hot, as I mentioned, and make these fights. So, you know, I think more people are growing tired and tired. Canelo keeps talking about this A-side talk and, you know, I've earned this position. But there's so many great fights out there. Like I said, Canelo's star power continues to dwindle, because the boxing game is not just waiting for any one fighter. Not even Canelo anymore. There's a lot of great fight. Wilder Fury 3 now just became a thing. People will watch it. Teofimo Lomachenko looks like it'll get done. Pacquiao looked good in his last fight, and him and Conor McGregor have publicly said they would fight each other. Things like that. So the world is not going to wait for Canelo, especially with him trapped on the app and getting less and less exposure and attention on his fights. So that's the one thing I don't like about Canelo's move up to 175. It was unnecessary. It was some like fake history he wanted to set, and he didn't even establish himself as the guy. He hasn't beat Andrade. He hasn't beat Charlo at 160. So you could say he's the best and has the best resume. That's cool. But those are two great fights for him. And if we really want to see who's the best of the best, you can't just omit two undefeated champions and act like they don't exist. You know, and I have no idea why they keep focusing in on the less American fights that people aren't checking for, like Billy Joe Saunders or Ryota Murata, Triple G3, when you have guys like Charlo and Andrade. You know, those fights, these have been going on since 54. So it makes absolutely no sense for me. But let me know what you guys think. Canelo said his next opponent should be announced soon, and we'll just see how the world interprets it. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. If you love what I'm doing, smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego, signing off.
So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.